The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing you that he doesn't exist, or in this case, she. Bro, some people are still waiting for the moment where LeBlanc is going to come out and say, "Ha! It was me, LeBlanc, all along, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids," like some sort of Scooby-Doo villain. Bro, sometimes we all just have to admit that less is more. And in terms of Arcane, definitely less LeBlanc does way more for the narrative. Any blatant explanations as to what was going on here with her and the Black Rose would essentially destroy her character. She would no longer be LeBlanc, no longer worthy of the title the Deceiver. It would be an insult to both the viewers and her intelligence. Now, where have I heard that phrase again?
I haven't insulted your intelligence, Ambessa. Do not insult mine.
Oh, right. She's everywhere and she's everyone. And that's all we need to know about her right now. In fact, Arcane's greatest achievement with this character is allowing her to not exist. Allowing her to operate as an enigma in the shadows of the narrative. Now I know some people are still having their doubts. They don't want to accept that she is 100% in Arcane. Here's where we go over this and prove that she's in Arcane. And we go over the storytelling masterclass by Forteach. It's her makeup, it's her eyes, it's her abilities, it's her organization, the Black Rose. In fact, the reason why this scene is goated is because she's managed to show every aspect of her character, from sigils to shapeshifting to teleportation. The reflections and the character's erratic movement throughout the scene, using visual effects and cut timing to highlight this even further, is brilliant. Without ever telling us who she is once, we can feel it. We get a sense for her malice, and this is indication enough of LeBlanc. This is how you write a character, especially in 2024 when you know the internet has YouTube detectives who are gonna break down your character and explain everything to the people who aren't in the know. What you do is you show, you don't tell. LeBlanc has moved about as loud as she needs to get a point across that she's already here and she's impacting the story. People are saying that Mel's storyline feels removed. But the thing is, when you're dealing with spies and shapeshifters, all of a sudden a lot of different characters begin to look shady. We start to ask, who's part of the cabal? Who's not part of it? Is every character in Arcane who they say they are? Another layer to this is that we've seen before how well they can mix a bunch of different storylines and parts into one penultimate moment. Alright, so let's get back to LeBlanc and this 200 IQ scene. This is a serious character. She's not here to play, and like most high IQ people, LeBlanc thrives off of information. Listen to how much of it she offers to Mel for free.
They said many years ago she passed through their hometown and fell in love. The affair led to a child.
And us as the viewers are suddenly faced with the same dilemma that Mel Medada has. How much of the information that we've just been given can we trust? Next question this creates is how much of what Ambessa says can we trust? Especially since both the viewers and Mel over there know that Ambessa is willing to lie to get what she wants. And even though we see Ambessa as a master manipulator, she even admits that mages have zero honor, zero accountability, which means one thing: the high level of deceit that the mages that she's encountered have demonstrated have done enough to make her actions even look accountable. This is all at least in her head. And which mages would those be? The ones that Ambessa deals with? The Black Rose. As with Big Medada, one thing that we can be 100% sure of is that LeBlanc making an appearance in the series means it's because she wants something. She explains that Ambessa had an affair in Basilisk, which is a port city in Noxus. For more context, League of Legends characters Darius and Draven both grew up as orphans in Basilisk. But the more important detail is that this affair that Ambessa had led to a child. That child has something that LeBlanc wants. LeBlanc has already revealed that Kino was not the child they were looking for, so she moved on to Mel. But what does this child have that is so important to LeBlanc? At first I imagined that Mel's mother had stolen something physical like an item or an heirloom. Now this still could be the case. However, we could also interpret this as theft of a concept, which would be something like a stolen lover or stealing someone's destiny. or stealing someone's life away. Amara mentioned in her fight with Mbesa that this is a feud, presumably over what that child inherited. For the sake of simplicity, we'll assume for now that Mel is the child that LeBlanc was looking for. This is a safe assumption because they only have 3 episodes left of the series, so to flesh out a whole new character would be bad writing in my opinion and ruin the pacing of the series. So Mel is the child. So the question then becomes, what does Mel have that LeBlanc wants?
But then your mother led us to you.
Of course, your mother is anything but a fool.
Sister.
LeBlanc calls Mel sister. Now this could just be how she talks, just like how I say bro a lot, or it could be her trolling, considering the fact that she was just acting like Mel's actual brother Kino. You know what? Another likely thing is that it could be her acknowledging Mel as a mage. But it's very hard to gauge what she means by this without further context, especially right after we've just found out that Mel's father is not who we think it is. I assume that the man who raised Mel is Kino's biological father, but not hers. And I also assume that this man is from Shurima. The reason why this is an easy cognitive leap is because he wears clothes that look very Shuriman, and because Mel's mother, Mbesa, was born on the southern coast of Noxus, in a town called Rockrund. And Rockrund would have a trade path by ship to Shuriman lands. So it's very likely that a bunch of Shurimans went over into Rockrund, and that's how Mbesa met Kino's father. This would explain why the Madadas don't all wear Noxian red. The small difference here is that while Kino and his father wear what I believe to be Shuriman garments, Mel's outfit as a child has a Solari emblem on it. This family portrait is probably the hint we get to explain this. The Blood, Sweat and Tears music video, associated with Arcane, takes place in Mbesa's hometown of Rockrund. In this video, she is pregnant with Mel and is about to die when the wolf aspect of kindred appears to her. Noxians only believe in the wolf, not the lamb. That's why the wolf shows up. Both of them are usually supposed to show up when one's about to pass away. In her fight for survival, she then enters a dream and meets an aspect of war. This aspect has ties to Targon, and that's where the Solari are from. And upon closer inspection, the Madada emblem actually looks a lot like the one the Solari use. It's a reference to the sun. Mel also has these gold plates that she wears on her skin, just like these Solari characters from Legends of Runeterra. Mind you, this is all happening in the same universe. And if you don't think that the writers pay attention to these kinds of things, the 3 dots on Rictus's armor represent the 3 pillars of Noxus: vision, might, and guile. If that small detail was important enough to put on Rictus's armor plate, then we can also assume that a lot more detail and thought would be put into Mel Madada. This part of the scene even shows us that the gold plates on her back resemble the bottom half of the Noxus emblem itself. Anyway, I feel like we need to get back to LeBlanc. The whole point of this tangent was to show how savvy the show is in terms of building the scene. The reason why LeBlanc puts Mel in this oculorum, or this room, in the first place is to test her, to see whether she's a mage or not. She explains that this room was built to hold false prophets, i.e. anyone without arcane talents will not be able to escape the room. The fact that Mel can read the sigils and start solving the puzzle to this room and break free of LeBlanc's chains as well is proof enough that she is a mage. And with this new revelation that Mel is a mage and has magical powers, we can jump to another conclusion, make a new leap, and that would be the reason why in this video we can see her eyes light up in the womb was because she was using that same ability that she used to save Jace, and she used to save herself right now to save her mother's life. They do say that Mbesa changed quite a lot after this event happened. All of my guesswork, ideas, research and speculation is leading me to believe that Mbesa might have stole the love of or killed someone that LeBlanc needed to covet this life-saving power that Mel now has. This person who had this power previously would be Mel's father, who has now passed this power on, maybe through those golden plates, and now LeBlanc is targeting her to try and covet this power for herself and the Black Rose. Why she needs it? We might not even get that answer. Now, as removed as the story arc may feel from the rest of the season so far, I do expect some side characters to reveal that they were working with the Black Rose all along. This would just reinforce that this was a huge coordinated effort to pull off what LeBlanc is pulling off, and not just a random blip of a random character popping up and operating by herself. Characters like Elora, Lest, and Maddie are very good shout outs for Black Rose spies. Will all of them be? Will one of them be? I don't know, but I do think out of our entire cast, those three have the highest potential of being part of the Cabal. It can also be any other minor characters that the show has shown us but hasn't utilized to their full potential yet. It would also give these characters a little more reason to be there, a little bit more functionality to serve the story. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. For now, I'm just impressed with one of the most classy, well thought out, and 200 IQ scenes in media.